can help her, Mr. Big.
I let you.
Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing Barbecue podcast, where maybe we have to have our first trigger warning, which that trigger would be suicide. Continue at your own peril, I guess. My name is Mary.
And I'm Sarah.
Ooh.
Standing on top of the roof, I am Josh.
I feel like that should come with a trigger warning. By the way, I'm Melanie.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, I was trying to provide an example of a trigger warning.
Quick shout out to our Patreon members: Brendan Fillock, Captain America, Sheen Pye, Laura Bernheim, Brad Mulholland, Anita Wren, and Kristen Carlano. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. I know it's too early to talk about Christmas, but Christmas Comic-Con is coming up in
Christmas Comic-Con?
Pasadena in August. And
Anybody special we know?
Yep. It's stars of Christmas movies.
That's crazy.
And the reason I'm bringing it up, there's one in Pasadena at the first weekend in August and one in New Jersey in December. And our very own Jesse Metcalf will be at both of them.
Oh, it's right, because he does those Christmas Hallmark movies. Gotcha.
Yes. So,
what about Chevy Chase or something?
Right.
Shit.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss him.
No offense, Jesse. We'd like to see you too.
Let's see. I don't know what the schedule is for the next week or two, so I'll just say July 3rd is the anniversary of Sherilyn Ratino's passing in 1995.
Aw.
So that would have been 1995. That would have been 27 years.
Is it?
27. 5. We're in a year.
What year was it?
No one can do math.
Yeah.
1990 what?
Yeah, that's
27.
95. 95. So it's
95.
That's 27.
Our Deb Twinelli and Kimberly Foster both have birthdays on July 6th. And William Smithers, who is still with us, will be celebrating July 10th, born in 1927.
That's so awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Also in 1995, on July 11th, Dawn Star Jordan Lee passed away.
Oh, man. July 95 wasn't good for the cast of Dallas. Jeez.
Wait, he died in 95? I thought it was a lot later than that. But I guess we are only in, we're 2022.
Yeah.
And let's
right
not
now.
forget that summer, Larry was looking for a liver and getting his liver transplant.
Yeah.
That is correct.
I was 19. I was 19 that summer.
Back. I can't even. I was going to say that, but it didn't come out. I was like,
Fuck it.
fuck it.
All right. Tonight we're talking about season 5, episode 5, which is episode 82 of the series. The sweet smell of revenge.
I can smell it.
Mama's boy, no one's gonna get you away from me ever again.
Don't worry, Daddy. I got a plan. Get the Farlows to throw Sue Ellen off the ranch. And once she doesn't have their protection anymore, she'll come hightailing it back to South Fork with John Ross in her arms.
How can Pamela just disappear, vanish into thin air just like that?
I don't know. No one has seen her since she left her office.
I want you to turn around, hon. You just turn around and take my hand, all right? Pam!
With a lot of crazies.
Yeah. It was written by Linda Elstad, directed by Irving J. Moore, and aired November 6th, 1981. On November 6th, 1981, the number one Billboard hit in the U.S. was Private Eyes by Hall & Oates.
I love that song.
The number one film in the United States was a personal favorite of mine, Halloween 2, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance, and Dick Warlock. That was directed by Rick Rosenthal.
And do you know who else was in it?
Dick.
Oh, Dana Carvey.
B.D. Calhoun.
Oh.
From Dallas.
Who
Tim Von Leer. He played a policeman.
Is he the guy who got his head squished? I think he might have.
I have to go back and look, but I know he was one of the police.
In the
But we'll have to go back and check, and that is not a stretch for me to go and rewatch that one. So also the top news stories this week in November 1981. Antigua and Barbuda succeeded from the United Kingdom.
Say that 10 times fast.
I know, right? Maternity leave was introduced in the Soviet Union. So, that's awesome. And it was announced this week that Princess Diana, Princess of Wales, was pregnant with a future Prince William. And born this day, November 6, 1981, was Cassidy Burnell, who was one of the victims of the Columbine Massacre. Yeah.
Oh.
And on Dallas.
Gretchen Weiler made her first appearance as Dr. Dagmara Conrad. And Art Hindle made his first appearance on Dallas. He was also in the movie Porky's that came out in 1981. And the David Jacobs series from 1985 called Berringers. This episode went back to number 1, and Priscilla Pointer had some great things to say about working with her scenes with Barbara Bel Geddes, both of whom come from the theater and were of the same generation, so they really enjoyed playing together. And let's get into this episode, which I thought was a little odd in some ways. I'll get into that.
A lot odd.
It was odd,
Sorry.
and I feel like not... Like, only a couple of storylines are really happening, and we're just kind of going back and forth between them.
Mm-hmm.
I thought scenes were really, really quick in this episode. They were too quick. They were like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And they were, like, everyone was running in a parallel storyline. Like, it was, JR never interacted with Miss Ellie or Bobby or any. Bobby was in their thing was in their own little thing. Mitch was in his own little thing. It just very parallel storylines, like you're watching a few different shows in one.
Well, I was watching it not in Sarah fashion. I was not paying attention. I was watching it, but I was doing other things, so I wasn't like concentrating. Am I right to say it did not open with a scene where Bobby is looking for Pam? That's after, right?
That's after, yeah. It opens with Dusty and Sue Ellen coming home from the court hearing.
Right. And I get that that's an important thing, but I was really confused why they didn't start with where the fuck's Pam? I mean, she was like missing when the last episode ended. Like missing, like bye-bye.
And it was the third scene before we picked up with any of that. Third scene.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And I think that's probably, I mean, I'm glad she won the court case, but like she won it. So the hanger was, where the fuck's Pam? So I thought, I don't know. It was very confusing to me. The whole thing.
And the only person that JR interacted with in his family was Jock over the telephone.
Right. Well, we didn't need JR for any. He would have just made all of it worse if JR had been involved. So let's just count that as a win.
Right. And there were no family meals.
No, there weren't.
Episode.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's a little.
Yeah, that is weird.
A little different.
Yeah, it is weird. We open on Dusty and Sue Ellen. They pull into Southern Cross, and they are so happy and relieved that everything happened the way it did.
A weight off her shoulders and the long drive up the driveway again.
I wonder why, is that long drive like, I'm going to go deep. Is it trying to symbolize like how far away from everything Southern Cross is? Like, maybe?
I mean, that would be like, I can see them doing that. Like, that could be, I wouldn't have thought of that.
I just thought of it just this second. That's why I'm just mentioning it. I don't know.
We have a bigger budget, so we can spend more time driving cars.
It's true. It's just an interesting choice. Like, I can see them doing it once, but they repeatedly do it. Like, okay, this is a really long road and we're driving the whole thing. So maybe it's really just meant to symbolize like how far away from everything it is. I don't know.
That could be.
It's a choice is what I'm saying. So it's an interesting choice. Anyway, they're really happy and then Sue Ellen rushes up to see John Ross, who is playing with his new nanny in his new room, which is like, got a lot less like shit on the walls than the one at Southwark.
Stupid jungle thing.
He has a TV. He has his own TV in that room.
I didn't notice that. That's funny.
I didn't either. That's odd for a 1-year-old.
I thought it was funny that Tyler Banks was like, Linda Gray picked him up and he was just kind of like, what the fuck, you know? he had that very classic Tyler Banks look on his face.
He's like,
Totally.
And I'm just like, don't celebrate yet, girl. It's a little premature. This was just like the preliminary hearing.
Like you know better, but okay.
Yeah.
This wasn't even a divorce hearing. This was a custody hearing.
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
But is it like in the last thing? I thought it was weird because it wasn't a divorce, but he already awarded alimony.
It was temporary alimony, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? It was temporary.
It was almost like
alimony?
spousal
Okay.
support. Yeah.
My bad.
And child support.
Okay, and child support. Yeah, but yeah, I've never been divorced, so I don't know how that goes.
$5,000 and $1,000. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Her alimony was like 5 times as much as her child support was for him.
Which is weird, but okay. Yeah.
Well, she has expensive taste, so.
All right, so the next scene, JR is talking to Daddy on the phone and reassuring him that they're going to get John Ross back.
He has a plan. He's going to buy up all the Farlows oil and from their distributors, and he's going to get them to give John Ross. He thinks he's going to get them to give John Ross to him in exchange for their oil, and he was also going to see if they can get Sue Ellen thrown off the Farlows ranch.
Sue Ellen is not going to be thrown off the ranch. Like, the Farlows won't do that to her. He's an idiot. I actually put that idiot.
He's an idiot. Yeah, he's an idiot because he thinks the Farlows are just like the same trash that he is. You know, so
Is he an idiot or an idiot?
I mean, both.
Idiot?
If the shoe fits, man.
Yeah, all of the above.
Oh yes.
Okay, so we finally cut to the store to take care of the Pam thing.
The Pam thing.
Where the fuck is Pam?
And Liz Craig has that nice scarf on. That blue.
She always has a nice scarf on.
Scarf. Yes. And Dusty in this episode is wearing a blue ascot. So blue is the theme of the.
I did notice that actually. I was trying to keep up with it, but it's just too much.
Just one more thing. Okay, so we have like an investigator there, like a police officer, I guess, there to like with them to try to figure out where the hell she is. And he's asking all sorts of questions, which Bobby doesn't like for some reason. And he's all like, does she have secrets? And Bobby's like, no, she doesn't have secrets. And I said, 1, Pam's too boring to have secrets. And 2, if she has secrets, it's because Bobby doesn't know what the hell is going on because he never listens to her.
And here's what I don't get. When they were leaving from breakfast at South Fork in the previous episode, Bobby said, oh, I'll drive you in to work so we can go out to dinner that night.
Right.
Why is suddenly her car at the parking lot? Did something happen that she had to take her own car in?
Is her car there?
Between the times? Yes, because that's why
Yeah,
they know
they
that
said it was in the parking deck, but she was missing. I thought the same thing, Josh.
That's weird. Why would they do that? What the hell?
Because didn't she leave? Yeah, because didn't she leave with him and they said they were going to go to dinner?
Yeah.
Because she was feeling so good.
He was going to drive her in, then they were going to go to dinner.
That's crazy.
Who
They fucked that up.
who were the writers? Who are the writers?
Well,
between
it's
these
a
two
different
episodes?
writer
Did
this
they know?
episode. That I think last week was Leonard Katzman, and this week is Linda Elstad. So different writers.
Well, they didn't compare notes.
They did not. Yeah, keep up. God.
No.
Keep up, Linda.
Linda Elstad, you get a check minus for that
Check
little
minus.
detail.
Yeah.
Check, man. You got a
Check
bad
minus.
seed.
That's right.
And then we just cut. We don't know what's happened. Then we just cut directly to lunch with Cliff, Rebecca, and Catherine.
Apparently, Catherine is a daredevil skier that spent time in Aspen with her daddy.
Right. We get a lot of. This is where we start to find out some details about Catherine, mostly from Rebecca. Yeah, she is. She's a go-getter. Because that's like she's moving on up in her little job as a journalist at the news station. And she's always had basically a lot of self-esteem, her mom says. And she's a daredevil. Which
I want whatever the three of them are drinking in that episode, in that scene.
yeah.
It looked like some good drinks.
They always look like good drinks though to me.
Yeah. Of course I'm a lush.
I was going to say we also find out that Catherine recently broke up with someone named Fred. She'd been in it sounded like an actual like pretty big relationship, and she's just like, yeah, I broke up with him.
Where did I come up with these names? Just Fred. It could have been something like a little more spicy, like more cowboy like.
Right. No, Fred just sounds like that's not a good name.
Hey, Fred.
No one hot has ever been named Fred, and I apologize to anyone in our audience named Fred.
Fred Flintstone.
I would not categorize Fred Flintstone as hot.
Hey, Fred and Wilma were
Totally.
the first TV couple to share a bed.
No. Animated maybe, but
That was Carol and Mike Brady.
no, that's way too far ahead. You got to go back to a different show, like in the late
No, it
1940s,
was.
that was on Kinescope and never seen again.
To the moon.
It was a show called The Mary Kay and Johnny Show.
That's an interesting fact. I had always heard it was I Love Lucy. So, all right.
She was the first pregnant woman on a TV show of that scope. But that little show did everything before, just nobody knew about it.
Because they didn't save it.
And they had twin beds on I Love Lucy. They were just pushed together.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I heard it was Carol and Mike Brady.
No, actually, Samantha and Darren Stevens were in a double bed before that.
Really? Because Carol and Mike
Well, hot
Brady,
damn.
they've been getting all the credit all these years.
we are learning lots of stuff today.
Okay, I think I know where they got the name Fred.
Huh.
There was an editor on Dallas from 1978 to 1991.
He's an
Fred
editor?
W. Berger.
Yes.
He's an editor.
Editors.
Fred W.
okay.
Berger.
Yes, I'm okay.
Well, we'll give Fred that then.
I take back my Fred comment then. I was just going to say that because I brought it up that the only animated character male who I find attractive is the Beast from Beauty and the Beast when he's human.
Ah,
That guy's hot.
yes.
I can't think of that right now.
At the end, he's wearing a poet shirt and everything. I dig it. So
The
Are you
poet shirt
talking
with
about the Ron Perlman and Linda Hamilton show? Beauty and the Beast on CBS?
cartoon character.
the real cartoon.
The Disney animated Beauty and the Beast. At the end, he becomes human and he's super hot. I'm just saying, super hot.
Okay, I thought you were. I'm still stuck on TV. I thought you were talking about Ron
No,
Perlman and Linda
animated
Hamilton.
characters because I didn't find Fred Flintstone attractive. But anyway, okay, we went off on a tangent there. Okay,
You didn't like Fred from Scooby Doo?
no, oh, not my type.
Okay.
That guy's way too preppy.
No,
Fuck that guy. No,
He's fucking duper
yeah, he's
smack.
a doof.
He's a douchebag.
Catherine is a little taken aback, but she fakes her enthusiasm when she learns that Cliff is named president of Wentworth Tool and Die.
Yeah, she's taking it. She does not hide it well at first, and then she recovers. But
Yes.
Why does she care? Is it because it's her dad's? She's just being selfish.
she's being
brat?
selfish because it's her dad and it's not Cliff's dad. So she's like, I think it's like she find out she has like half siblings, and she's like, okay, and then she finds out like they're taking the other side of her thing, and she's like, hold on a minute. I think that's why.
Right. It's like a kid fighting over a toy. It's like mine.
Yeah.
Up until now, she thought she was an only child.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very much that.
So now she has to share attentions and family toys.
Yep.
Ew.
So we cut to Ewing Oil.
And JR wants Sly and Phyllis to get all the information on Farlow refineries and suppliers. I guess the correspondence that Phyllis was working on can wait.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't want to do it. She's just like, yeah, but I have this other thing. And he's like, nope, you're doing this. And she's like, ugh, okay, fine.
And Sly is still referring to him as Mr. Ewing. Let's see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
We should watch for that. I would like to know when she starts calling him JR.
Mm-hmm.
Just interesting to me.
Yes.
Now, do you find this a little odd? Bobby is back at his office while his wife is missing.
Yeah, I think it's weird.
I mean, he was running all over the place looking for Lucy when she was off with Willie Gust.
Right.
And
Exactly. I think it's fucking
now
weird.
his own wife is missing and he's back at work,
Yeah.
leaving it to a detective.
Right. I would be,
Yeah.
if my
Exactly.
spouse was missing, I would be like, and I knew that they were maybe a little off and needing help.
Cray.
I would definitely not be, I'd be like looking everywhere I could think of. And I would know that they wouldn't be at the office. So what are you doing, Bobby?
Yeah. That struck me. That struck me as a little odd.
Yes,
I'll just
it
say.
is.
And there's still nothing new to report. So it's another one of these quick scenes.
It was very quick, very quick. And then we cut to Dixie's restaurant where Afton and Mitch are getting some burgers.
And she is chastising him for turning down $5,000 and wanting to live the life of a pauper.
She is aghast.
Yeah.
Why does she care so much?
I think it's because it's her brother. I don't know about you, but like when my brothers do really stupid things, I'm just like,
Yes.
you're a fucking idiot.
Yep.
You know? I'm very judgy when my brothers do stupid things, which is often. So,
I mean, I guess I do too. I guess I am too, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. And he's talking about how he took an oath in a medicine, and he doesn't feel it's morally correct to blah blah and just blah 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 blah.
I also think that Afton might be a little jealous because she sees Mitch having all of these opportunities to just instantly get a lot of money and do whatever the fuck he wants, and he keeps like turning it down, and that's literally all she wants is just
and she has to turn tricks to get her money as JR's little side piece.
And it's just coming easy to Mitch, and he's just like, whatever, I don't need it. And she's just like, you're an idiot.
Like I said in the last episode, he could have taken it and given it to medical research or charity or something.
Yeah. He's just got to stick up his ass about it. And he's just like, his morality, quote unquote morality, is just is very within these black and white lines.
But then again, if he had taken the $5,000, it probably wouldn't have opened up the storyline where this guy wants to meet with him about a potential internship.
Well, it's a choice he made, and it turns out it was a really good choice because Dr. Waring wants to meet him, and he's worried, like, he's going to offer me an internship. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, you just graduated medical school. That's a good thing. And he's like, I don't know if I want to do it. Okay.
Mitch.
Okay, Mitch.
Pull your head. Don't be a bitch. Pull your head out of your rectum and look at the world around you.
Why is he so proud? I don't get it.
But that's Afton's point.
God. I seldom agree with her, but this time I do. Afton, you are correct. Yes.
He is proud to the point of stubbornness and stupidity.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And then we come to Bobby, who's pulling a Pam, just staring off into space.
He's distracted. Mm-hmm. Well, Bobby, maybe you shouldn't have been at the office anyway if you were going to be distracted. Maybe you should have been out looking for your wife. And why hasn't he...
No shit.
Why hasn't he called Cliff or Rebecca to see if they have seen or heard from her? Why hasn't he involved them at all?
Right?
They're his family. Her family.
Because that would make sense.
She might have taken the day off. Yeah.
That would make way too much sense. I don't know. Because Bobby's an idiot.
In fact, that's another thing about Bobby as this goes on and on and on and what we see happening. He isn't the one that even bothers to call Rebecca.
No, because Bobby is an idiot.
And we'll get there, and you're going to ring that bell again for him.
Oh, yes, I am. Most definitely.
Oh, yes, I am.
But anyway, the phone rings. He picks it up, and then he's just like, what's going to happen? And then he just runs out. We don't know what's happening.
And then we cut to the shot of... instead of the Who's song Marianne with the shaky hand, it's Pamela with the shaky body on the top of the roof there.
Yeah. There's
stuttering
police
about.
cars. And she's standing
and then you get that dramatic shot of the cop looking up at the building from the
There's a lot of dramatic shots. Yep. And okay, is this the store? Are we still at the store? This is my question.
Yeah, I think she goes to the top floor.
And no one bothered to look
because they said they said she went to Liz Craig's office and Liz says she never made it up there. I think she went upstairs, but just went ahead and was like, I'm going to pass that and go out on the roof.
Stairs. Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to go upstairs and get some fresh air and go a little cray-cray.
Yeah.
She's there.
She is in the bell jar, man. In the bell jar.
Yeah. She's there.
She has replaced Ozzy Osbourne as the driver of that crazy train.
Uh-huh.
I.
Yep. And then we get a lot of Pam's POV too, which is interesting.
I forgot to say this earlier. When they were putting the bolo out on Pam, like when they couldn't find her, I was...
A what-o?
Be on the lookout. It is a police term. Bolo.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought I was thinking of like the bolo ties. Like the
tie. No. But I was like, I wrote down, like, I know, of course, what happens. I know where she is, but I wrote down, you always check the roof. Bolo ain't going to help if she's still in the building.
Why didn't they do a top to bottom search of the building? That's what I don't understand. Like, that would be your first thing you do.
The roof, the basement.
I guess not. Not 1981, I guess.
The ledges, if they have ledges outside, the fire escapes, the stairways. You can't just like check the storefront. You got to go everywhere. The elevators.
Also, but
I think this police force is being run by Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons.
But I have a question that I just thought of. So, how much time has passed? Because Bobby was there; she was missing. They were looking for her, and then they just spotted her on the roof. I feel like as soon as she went by a ledge, people were like, "Oh my God, there's someone on a ledge!" How much time has passed where Bobby's gone back to the office and he has his secretary taking notes? Is she just like sitting on the roof?
She might be just kind of like staring off into space and then just gets the idea to go towards the edge.
Yeah, maybe.
We don't know where she was.
She's trying to decide.
She hit that mark.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We don't know. Maybe.
This isn't the only time in this episode where the lapse of time comes into question to me.
Yeah. Right. It's a little weird.
Do you think she would have jumped if Bobby wouldn't have found her?
I don't know, because she seemed pretty serious with that jump. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
They were getting that tiny little thing that she would bounce off of, ready down in the ground, which was not
that high too. Doubt that's going to work. Sorry, I jumped ahead.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I saw them pulling a gurney off the thing, not a cushion to catch her.
I didn't see it. Yeah, little jumping.
Was that a gurney? I couldn't tell. It was so small. I'm going.
Well, then that makes more sense.
Pick up the pieces.
Oh, like all right.
She jumps.
Yeah, we gotta get ready to bag her and tag her. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
So obviously.
Oh.
So they didn't even think to get one of those giant inflatable things that if they bounce, they would bounce. But the speed that she would be traveling down. The rate to accelerate.
Yeah, those don't work on there. Yeah,
there's no. Yeah, that's not.
I think past 8 stories that you're just dead.
There's no way.
That's like splatter food.
But we do have to drink because you see Pam's POV as Bobby pulls up in his red car, and then there's a. So drink.
Yay! Drink.
And the music in the scene is something else. It's like dun 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 dun. It's really serious.
It's like a creepy Pink Panther.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They finally have the full orchestra back, and they're not using the same.
And did you see Peter Sellers in the background?
Who's Peter Sellers?
Pink Panther. Movies.
Duh.
You know what? It's so funny. They like made a half-ass attempt to stop Bobby. Like one of the cops was like, "Oh." Did you see that?
Okay, never mind.
That's my question. Like. Because he just rushes out there, and I feel like that would never happen. They would never just like let someone rush out there, even if it was their husband, because they'd be like, "No, we have to. We have this person." They would never do that.
I think was it
today?
There's
anyway.
protocol and
the
procedure.
scene contains.
Yeah, it's like I think was it a
They have protocol.
Was it a female officer, the one who put her hands out, and then was kind of like, oh, and then he just like walked through.
And she's like, "Oh, my bad,
Mr. Ewing."
I know.
Oops.
Yeah.
It happened so fast I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman police
absolutely,
officer.
Please commandeer our active scene.
It was
why not?
Right. Right. Just go. There's someone suicidal that we don't know who you are actually, because he didn't. There's no way that they all knew who he was. Random person. Just go. Sure.
All they knew, he could have gone up to the roof to push her.
And then
they don't know.
Exactly. They don't know.
He probably wants to.
I thought he was going to hand his jacket to the cop.
I do.
Instead of dropping it
like, hold this, man.
Here, hold this. Hey,
so weird.
Remember me? It's Bobby Ewing, psychiatrist and kidnap rescuer.
Oh my God. So then he rushes out there and he's just like, "Turn around, Pam. Don't do it. Blah, blah, blah."
Turn around, bride.
Every now and then.
I fall apart.
Then
that was pretty good.
That was pretty good. She just starts screaming, no.
But it's that
blood-curdling
horrible, crazy one.
It is. It's not good.
It reminds me of a little swan song scream.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But that was more like sad. This is more like,
Yeah.
Yep.
And then she literally, like, it looks like anyway, like she literally goes to take a leaping jump off the roof. And somehow Bobby makes it there before she's able to do that and grabs her. I guess he was closer than we thought.
Bobby Ewing, superhero.
Yeah, it was crazy. And
add that to it.
And then she faints, and he grabs her and is like, "It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." And she faints, and then he's crying, and it's just, okay.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And then they need a commercial break so everyone can recover. Now we go to Ellie and Lucy. They're baking a cake in the kitchen. In it's daytime. It is daytime,
which is weird in itself. Lucy baking, so
that's true.
And their outfits, they look like they work in some candy shop at like Disney World, with Ellie's like green and Lucy's purple. And Ellie's putting some like jam on the cake, and then she's putting a massive amount of chocolate frosting on top, which Lucy is trying to eat.
Yep. And they're talking about her and Mitch's relationship, and Ellie's just like, I think it'd be really sad if you guys are broken up for good, because Mitch is such a nice young man.
Nice young man.
But they need time apart, and they've been having time apart because they haven't had any scenes together in several episodes.
Many episodes, yeah. And then the phone rings, and Bobby tells Ellie about Pam, that she's in Dallas Memorial, and then Ellie is just like, oh God, and then they rush out.
They exit through a very strange door that I have never seen before in that end of the kitchen. Behind the kitchen table in the corner.
I didn't notice.
I didn't notice that either.
Like
Interesting.
It was there, and then it wasn't there.
Okay. So we cut to Bobby. He's sitting up with Pam in the hospital, who's asleep.
With that eye makeup on. She's got all her eye makeup on.
A whole shit ton of eye makeup with purple eyeshadow. Again, just like intense. And she's been given a sedative by Dr. Danvers, I'm assuming, because that's his deal.
Right. He's the sedative distributor for the city of Dallas. Now, it took Ellie and Lucy, they left South Fork when it was daytime, and now it's nighttime, and they're getting to the hospital. Because the exterior shot of the hospital was nighttime.
So maybe it was like 4 or 5 p.m. at home, and since they left. But they're going to Dallas Memorial, so I feel like that might be a little drive from South Fork, because it's in Braddock. And you got if it's 4 or 5 o'clock, you got some traffic.
But what time of year is it? Because the sun sets at
November.
Later.
It's November.
It is November?
Filmed in August or September, probably.
Okay.
So, probably. But it's supposed to be November. So, yeah, it could happen. It's a stretch, but it could happen.
I suppose.
Yeah. So Bobby tells basically Pam's problems and says that she's going to need psychiatric care, which, goddamn, finally, Bobby realizing she needs actual psychiatric care. And then she's going to be maybe going to Brooktree Psychiatric with a Dr. Conrad that Dr. Danvers has recommended.
Gretchen Weiler, who has also been appearing on St. Elsewhere
Cool.
around the same time. So.
And we also note that Bobby can't get a hold of Rebecca.
Okay, so, yeah, that's right. He apparently we are now learning that he has tried to get a hold of her, but can't. Okay.
We cut to Ewing Oil. Sly has info for JR about all the shit he's trying to do.
And he's going to start alphabetically, going down to Houston and work with the Iroko company. And Sly is saying, you're loving this, aren't you? As well, whatever makes my daddy happy makes me happy. And he has that JR smirk on his face.
And he is always seeking to get his dad's approval. Always. Like, this is just for his dad, basically.
I said
so many daddy
issues. I think
issues.
this is more about you, JR, not really Jock. Like, this is about him and his need for approval from his dad. It's like not what daddy wants. It's like it's what you think daddy would want.
Well, I think he's been talking to his dad on the phone, though, right? So I think he's doing what he thinks his dad wants him to do by getting John Ross back and doing all these like underhanded deals to like make his dad proud of him.
And he knows how that goes, though.
Like I said, it occurs to me that Larry Hagman does not act with another main cast member in this entire episode. It's all supporting people.
Yeah, because he's got his own side storyline that no one else is really involved in right now.
Right. And the main focus of this episode is on Pam's condition, and even the final scene, the final shot is of Bobby and not JR.
I know, which is different than normal. Yeah.
Right. That would have been a good drinking game, but we should have started from the beginning of the series.
Oh, shit. You're right.
Drink every time an episode ends with JR with one of his grins.
We can add it to the list. We can start it now.
Yeah.
Does he have to be grinning? We have to.
A double shot if he's grinning, but it's a shot if he's.
If the freeze frame is JR, drink. I'm going to actually write that in my notes. If the freeze frame is JR, drink. If it's an evil grin, double drink.
Yes, double shot. But this episode kind of flies by, even though there are a lot of smaller scenes just strung together that are very short.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to move.
It keeps moving, though, this episode. It like moves. It seemed to go faster, I think, than normal.
Right. I think the longest scenes were Pam with Dr. Conrad and the scene on the roof.
Yeah,
Those might have been the
which they
longest
should
scenes
be.
in the
Those are the biggins.
The tent poles of the episode.
Yeah. Okay, so we got to it's morning at South Fork.
And it's windy.
And Bobby tells Ellie he's headed to see Pam at the hospital.
Yes. And she asks if she should go, and he says no. He wants to meet with the doctor first, figure, see what's going on, maybe make some decisions. And it's very windy at South Fork, and Ellie is tending to the flowers too, which is nice to see her working and pruning and trimming. And then she goes over and picks up the phone and calls Rebecca. And it's like she always knew the phone number. She didn't call information. And it's like they spoke yesterday. And
isn't that weird? I think the whole thing is weird.
Yeah, because when Rebecca answers the phone and finds out it's Ellie, it's like she hasn't spoken to her in forever.
Yeah, like in 50 years or something.
And their scenes imply that they've had some long, friendship. And if they've had a long friendship, wouldn't she recognize her as looking similar to Digger's wife?
Right. What is the basis of their friendship? Is the basis of their friendship that she knew her as the Wentworth, or she knew her as a Barnes, Rebecca Barnes or Rebecca Wentworth? Which one? And if it's Rebecca Barnes, she hasn't seen her in 50 years. And that's weird that they are immediately oh, hey, what's up? And then how did that happen? And then if it's Rebecca Wentworth, it's just weird.
And Ellie's not
Did we ever really find out how she knows her as?
And Ellie wouldn't have had a reaction oh, wait, you were dead. You were supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
I totally thought you were dead for the last however many years. I guess it's not 50 years. How old is 30 years, maybe?
Yeah, you're looking good for a dead woman.
Yeah. What the heck?
It's weird.
It's really weird.
Okay. Linda Elstad, you got some explaining to do here.
I have it just brings up so many questions.
That's another check.
That are never answered.
Another check minus for you, Linda Elstad.
Yeah. But Ellie says, hey, I want to talk to you about something. Do you want to meet up? And they make plans to meet up in an hour.
Okay. Now, Ellie says she's going to be in Dallas. I will pick you up. File that away.
When does Ellie ever?
File that away.
Okay. Right. Okay. So then we cut to Sue Ellen at the Southern Cross pool.
With that low-cut blue bathing suit that goes down past her boobies.
It's such an 80s bathing suit. Oh my God.
It's like going down to almost to the equator.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's sexy.
It's pretty much there, yeah.
Yeah. And she's swimming, and then Dusty limps out with Clayton
in one mighty hobble.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know he's limping out, and then it becomes clear that he's there to do his exercises for his leg, and Clayton's reassuring him, "Oh, you're getting better every day." Blah blah blah.
But he's not using a cane. He's just holding the side of his leg this time.
That's true, which means he is doing better. So congratulations, Dusty.
But poor Dusty comes out there and he's going to be can't get a bone because, you know what I mean? I mean, still with that low skin, be hello. But he's fuck, not again.
I will say it is.
The danger noodle is broken.
It is good to see Sue Ellen laugh.
True.
That's true.
Playful Sue Ellen is awesome.
She pulls him into the pool and they start
sucking face.
And they embrace and they start playing tonsil hockey.
She seems really happy, and that's the Sue Ellen we like to see. But
I feel like Dusty at first, when she starts pulling him in the pool, he's just like, I don't know. And then she pulls him in, and then he goes with it. And it's all good.
Yeah.
And it's all good. Except Clayton's
watching with a little bit of concern there. Like, he's still trying to recover. And
also, isn't it weird to make out in front of your boyfriend's dad?
yeah.
I'm sorry. I would never do that. That's just...
No, I wouldn't do that as an adult.
That's what I'm saying. That's just weird to me. But maybe that's me and my shit. I don't know.
It's not weird. No.
Well, in a very Brady Christmas, Jan and Philip Covington started kissing in front of Carol Brady that morning.
They did. Also, Philip Covington should never be kissing anyone because gross, but whatever.
Okay, back to the quick JR scene as he's putting his plan together.
He's making plans to just fuck over the Farlows. That's basically it.
He's going to buy this oil for $50 million from this whoever this seller is that we don't really get the name out of. And what is it? It'll be dealt with in a couple weeks after the current contract expires, which will give this guy time to get out of town because
he's afraid of Clayton.
Yeah, when you see Clayton mad, and that's something JR would love to see.
Yeah, he thinks so. I think Clayton would probably be pretty scary mad.
JR.
So then we cut to Pam staring off into space again. And then Dr. Conrad comes to visit.
It's a tiny hospital room.
Yeah, hospital rooms are usually pretty tiny, I think.
Well, Digger had a little bigger room when he was dying.
But wasn't Digger like in some weird like multi-person room that's like a drunk detox or something?
I don't think we could really tell from the camera angles if there was stuff going on behind them in the other part of the room, but
I don't know. That's what I assumed, but maybe I assumed incorrectly. I don't know.
I don't want to ever be in a room with somebody else because I mean I talk and I fart and I burp. I just really don't want to be in a shared hospital room. I'm just telling y'all. Took all I had not to fart when I was in the hotel with y'all. Okay, I mean for real. I mean I may have done it in my sleep. I'm not sure. I mean
I was sleeping with you in the same bed. It was fine. You didn't. If you farted on me,
both like,
I didn't notice. I didn't care. You can fart on me all you want, Sarah.
You didn't feel any ripples in the sheets or anything like that?
I didn't. So it was fine.
But we have someone in the house that they talk in their sleep, and I'm walking by the room one day and I hear, "I'm gonna tear you apart." And the person was asleep and nobody was in the room. I was like, okay.
Wow.
But so Pam has those red flowers, which matches Dr. Conrad's outfit, the color of her outfit.
Which means that I guess that would symbolize that Dr. Conrad is good and supposed to be, helping like the flowers.
Yes. Trying to bring a ray of sunshine into a dark, trank environment.
Yeah. So she's like, how are you feeling? And Pam's just like, she does not even have the energy to really answer her about it at all.
But they start delving into some things here, and Pam unloads about her mother leaving her as a child and what kind of
that shit just comes out like, and you're like, oh, you've been holding that in.
Yeah, Dr. Conrad was like the laxative that needed to get the crap out.
Right. Pam's got some deep-seated anger in her that's actually been there for a long time. Girl's been covering that up. Yeah.
She's got a lot of issues.
Yeah. She's got to deal with.
Feelings.
She's got some
feelings.
And Dr. Conrad's like, I think you're angry. And then
no shit.
Right. And then she's like, what are you angry about, Pam? She's like, I don't know why I'm angry. I'm like, I think you do, but okay.
But she knows she doesn't want to feel this way anymore.
Yeah. And then she's like, how long have you been feeling this way? She's like, I don't know, basically since birth, since my mother left me, like forever. And she's like, okay, like we have a lot of work on our hands here. So let's put a pin in it.
That's what I said. I was like, and this is so funny that you said this episode should come with a trigger warning at first, because I said, holy shit, this is one of the first times a trigger is referenced in TV that I can think of right off. Pam was triggered by her mother coming back, and then JR trying to take John Ross away from Sue Ellen.
Yep.
Just weird.
Totally. She's got a lot of issues. She really needs to. And then
this is a medical episode. This is a medical episode.
It is a medical episode.
And Mitch's storyline. This is a medical episode.
Did she get a mild sedative?
Yeah, we all need mild sedatives, please. Please give me one. When she's like, I have no idea why I'm having these feelings. And I'm like, I can think of 3 off the top of my head. 1, her mom, who abandoned her, just came back into her life the first time. 2, her husband. Actually, I lied. It was just 2, not 3. 2. And then the other one is her husband is ignoring her for long periods of time. So she's feeling like abandoned probably by Bobby all those times.
And can we go back?
Well, 3 could just be living in the house.
That's true also.
And 4 can be finding out that her daddy is not her daddy.
Oh, yeah, that too. That's also, like, she's gone through some shit the last couple of years. Also in losing numerous babies via miscarriage.
I was about to say, yep, that's the same thing.
She's not a Barnes. She's a McKinney.
She's had a lot of shit the last couple of years. She totally can have any sort of breakdown she wants. She's due. That's fine with me. Okay, yes. Pam.
We'll give you a pass.
I'll give you a pass, Pam. That's fine.
Pat Powers.
So we get to Ellie and Rebecca going for a walk in the park.
Like they had, like they're old pals and hadn't seen each other, and
that's
like they were BFFs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just bizarre to me because, I mean, Digger was in love with Ellie and Rebecca knew it, but they were still like friends before Rebecca took off.
Right.
Okay. So the Barnes and Ewing families have known each other for years and years and years and years.
Yes.
And I don't care what you do to yourself. You can only change yourself so much. When she became Rebecca Wentworth, you can't really change yourself to the point where someone like Ellie, who you were cross paths with as Digger's wife, wouldn't recognize.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's just odd, the whole thing.
Yeah. But Rebecca is basically feeling really guilty. She's like, I think this is all my fault. And Ellie's like, oh, well, we don't know that. It's useless to speculate. We have Pam's going to deal with it with her doctor.
It is, bitch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Ellie obviously picked her up an hour later, and they are now at the park walking.
Yes.
And
then we got to Brook Tree Hospital, where Bobby says he just doesn't understand what's wrong. And I said, Bobby, you're so pretty and you're so dumb. You're such a beautiful goddamn idiot. It's like he's just a fucking idiot. Like, what have you literally haven't been paying any attention. And I realized that he's saying all this, and Dr. Conrad is just giving him the most amazing side eye the whole time. It's so good. I decided I love Dr. Conrad in this scene, and Bobby's just like, "What? I care for her. I love her. That should be enough." And she's like, "Yeah, it's never enough if she doesn't love herself.
You can't love away somebody's depression." I was like, "Bobby, you stupid husband." Like he's trying to help, but he's fucking not.
You stupid husband.
Stupid husband.
And then he says, well, she wants a baby. Wouldn't a baby solve all these problems? Blah, blah, blah.
No.
God, no.
And it's just like,
put a baby in the hands of a crazy fucker?
Like,
no.
That's a lot to put on a baby. Like, that's a lot of pressure. And he's just like, oh, yeah, weird.
That was like, if you think about it.
The light has dawned on Marblehead.
What a dumbass.
Do you remember all that strife that went on after Sue Ellen had John Ross, and everybody was like, I thought it was going to, bring them closer together, blah, blah. And I'm like, you don't have a baby to try to get closer to your partner. Like, what? That is, it never works. If that's the sole purpose.
No, because a baby's a lot.
It just stresses you out more. You guys end up resenting each
other.
Lot of shit. Like, I'm not even a parent, and I fucking know, like, that's not a good idea. Like, why would you bring your child into that strife? Just fucking divorce.
Just fucking divorce.
Right.
Just fucking divorce.
And then the child is resented, and this happens, and that happens. And the child becomes a weapon in the divorce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So anyway, the doctor says that she really wishes that they could asking for Bobby's help to get Pam to commit herself for a voluntary commitment. But if she doesn't, she's like, there's also involuntary commitment is a choice we could make.
And we have to stress that Dr. Conrad thinks that Pam needs 24-hour care right now.
She should definitely be on suicide watch still. I don't understand why she's not, but okay.
And that doesn't mean it's South Fork.
Yeah, right.
That means institutionalized.
Right.
Just for a little bit.
JR involuntarily commits his wife, and Bobby's trying to get his wife to voluntarily commit herself.
Well, that's the difference between the two of them, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we got to Mitch's meeting with Dr. Waring.
And more of the Dallas MD episode. He wants Mitch to consider a internship in plastic surgery, and states that the burn victims are the repair and the look on the mother's face of a child whose cleft palate has been fixed. It's not all nose jobs and this and that. It's
right, because Mitch's whole thing is like, I want to make a difference. Like, I don't want to just make money. Like, I did this to like make a difference and make people's lives better. And he's like, yeah, but you totally can with plastic surgery. And he's like, oh, you can see Mitch's wheels turning. Like, oh, I never thought of that.
Yes,
but you can. There's a lot of instances you could,
yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah. All right. Here, we filed away the fact that Ellie said she was going to pick Rebecca up, and now they're putting Ellie in a taxi.
Well, she sent a car to come get her.
Did Ellie pick Rebecca up with a taxi?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think Ellie drove for a while.
So my thought is like Ellie got a taxi and picked Rebecca up in the taxi. Maybe. And she's dropping, her off at the house in the taxi.
Maybe.
It's just weird the way she worded it on the phone that implied that she was driving in and picking her up.
It did imply that. You're correct.
Yeah, whenever she doesn't ever really drive, and Miss Whitworth does sometimes.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes. And Ellie meets Catherine.
Yeah. And and Ellie says hi to Cliff. She's really happy to see Cliff, I kind of liked that little moment between her and Cliff.
And Ellie's always nice to Cliff, I think. Don't you? I mean, like,
so too.
Most of the time, yeah.
But it makes sense because I bet Cliff reminds her of Digger a little bit. Yeah.
She doesn't want to. Yeah. She doesn't want to partake in this feud. She wants to just.
She doesn't. She's wanted it over for years.
She leaves it to the male chauvinist pigs in the family.
Stupid husbands.
Exactly.
And now Cliff and Catherine find out about Pam's situation after Ellie leaves.
And Cliff is a little stunned.
News travels very slow to people in this episode in this family.
As opposed, Ewing news usually travels really fucking fast in Dallas, but I guess not right now.
I'm surprised we didn't have a newspaper.
It's not on the front page.
I'm surprised we didn't have a newspaper with Pam on the front page.
Attempted suicide. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And then we see Bobby after all of that, bringing Pam home to South Fork. After all the talk about the institution, or not the hospital.
And he drives up the driveway.
He brings her to South Fork.
It's a voluntary commitment, right?
Yeah, but you would think that they would ask her to make that while she was still in the hospital. Am I wrong?
Yeah, because if you leave, you're going to think you're okay, and then you don't get back. That's the whole point.
Yes. They can't legally keep her unless she does or says so. Well, okay, this is why I don't understand why they didn't 5150 her immediately.
They didn't have that then. That didn't become a hold until 1990 something. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That's why it's involuntary, because now if you say something that you're a danger to yourself or others, they can keep you for 72 hours. Yeah.
But that wasn't until 1990?
Something, 1990s.
Okay.
It's a long time after the...
That makes sense. Let me ask you guys this. Do you think if it had been anybody other than Pamela Ewing, they would have taken her in, straight jacket and thrown her in?
Yeah. Yeah,
if it just been some rando woman on the roof, but because it was Pam, they even told Bobby, when the police came, that they were oh, we're going to make this a top priority because it's you. I'm sure it's the Ewing is white privilege, not to be like that, but I mean, of course, yes, it's a TV show, but also yes, they're fucking privileged because anybody else, it's
reflecting real life,
and it's kind of how Sue Ellen escaped the sanitarium. She just walked out. anybody else, they would have fucking been running after her. It's insane.
Section 5150.
5150.
Welfare Institutions
Somebody
Code. They can be
call
detained for 72 hours in a psychiatric hospitalization.
But when was it instated?
Oh, I was just looking up the section number. It was a 5150.
Yeah.
I just think that maybe they were trying to make Bobby and Pam, like Pam do it in the hospital or Bobby, and neither of them would do it per Dr. Conrad's advice. And so Bobby just took her home, which I think is a terrible choice. But, that's
Bobby gets the bell a lot in this episode.
1967, Sarah.
Really? I thought it was way later because it was something to do with like your rights. You can't have.
That's when it was
I don't know.
first used
I'm
with
wrong.
the 72-hour hold. That's when it first came about. I don't know when they see origin. Oh, it's an origin for California law. 1967. So it was.
That's a 5150, right?
So it started in California.
Okay, but it was okay. Maybe it's other states later.
You know what? It did not
I love
gain traction until Van Halen came out with the album in '86, and then it hit Urban. Yeah, and then it hit Urban Dictionary in 2002. So it's gained.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
JR is talking to Jock on the phone, and Sly interrupts him to tell him that. Oh no! Wait, JR. No, this is JR needing $100 to $2 million loan from Franklin Horner, who says he can't cover all of it, so he's going to look for other people to take part of the loan.
Yep. And then we cut to Pam sleeping in heavy makeup again. The fucking
I put the same face out.
Purple eyeshadow.
I was like, okay, so we're just going to sleep with a full face of makeup?
What?
Okay.
Can we comment who's washing those pillowcases?
Scotch Guard.
That's awful. You know how much makeup is on there? Ugh.
So much makeup.
And can we comment on how yellow everything is in the room, including the chair Bobby is sitting in?
I love yellow, but I would not have that much yellow. No.
That chair matches like the yellow everything. It's just like,
it was all yellow.
Part of me thought that the chair was kind of gorish.
Yeah.
That's just me.
So Pam wakes up. Bobby's sitting there reading the paper, basically watching her. And he basically just tries to convince her to admit herself into the hospital.
And she nods that she'll think about it as she falls off to sleep again.
She's like, I'm just so tired. I'm like, yeah, girl, you need to be in a hospital.
And she goes, he says he wants what's best for her. And she said, what you mean is you think I'm going to try to kill myself again, she says.
He's like, yeah, maybe.
That's exactly what I mean, motherfucker.
He's like, I don't want you to kill yourself.
Exactly.
You're my way. Like, yes, obviously, Pam. He does not want you to kill yourself. So cool.
Yeah. And while they're doing that, JR is looking for a tank farm to hold 5 million barrels of oil.
Which is a lot. That's a lot of oil. Yeah.
Yeah. JR, how does it feel being a side piece in this episode?
Ooh, you deserve it, JR. And we got to Bobby at the office, and he opens a letter that has a picture of Kristen and her baby in it.
Although Bobby doesn't know that it's Kristen's baby at the time.
So did Bobby not know that Kristen was pregnant?
I don't believe they knew she was pregnant.
Oh, like that, because he was kind of like, later he's like, her baby? Like, I didn't realize he didn't know that she was pregnant. So, interesting.
He has to be in the office at noon if he wants more information. Oh, by the way, there's a character named Ray Krebs in this episode for a moment.
Just for a second, yeah. And Punk Anderson, and they're at the Cattlemen's Club.
With a guy named Walter or Walker Shear.
I didn't catch his name. I just wrote a random dude in my notes.
It's about some potential development deal in San Antonio, was it?
Yeah.
How far is San Antonio? Is that far enough away to?
I don't know Texas geography.
I can tell you exactly. From Dallas, it's a 3-hour drive to San Antonio because me and the kids did it that year. Okay. It's exactly 3 hours.
Good to know.
So it's from Birmingham to Dallas, it's 10 hours. From San Antonio to Birmingham, it's 13 hours.
And that's why they have helicopters if this deal is going to go through.
Exactly.
There we go. Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so then Bobby gets a call from a guy who we later know his name, but we don't right now. And he's basically like, yeah, this is Kristen's baby. And Bobby's like, baby, weird. And then he said,
Shepard.
Christopher Shepard. And if you want to know more, you have to pay.
Why are you coming to me with this, Bobby says. Did you go to JR? That was his sister-in-law, not mine.
It's like, I heard shit about JR. I don't want to deal with him.
JR's reputation precedes him.
Which is pretty true, I'd say. And then JR is updating Jock on the phone about everything that's happening. And then he gets a call comes to show that everything that basically JR has been planning is in motion.
Mr. Marshall calls to tell JR that 100,000 barrels are on their way to Earl Holiday's tank farm. And then JR is talking to Daddy about everything's going well. And I think Jock must mention something about make sure oil prices don't drop. And JR goes, oh, they're never going to drop. Price of oil is never going to drop. He has that grin again on his face.
Famous last words. I said the same thing when I bought a house in 2001.
Is that foreshadowing?
House prices never drop until 2008.
Oh.
Whoops.
So we cut to the Southern Cross. And I want to say, who are the people in the paintings on the wall? There are two paintings of like random guys and like hats. And I like, is this someone we know? Weird.
And speaking of paintings, I do want to go back to JR's meeting with Franklin Horner, and he goes, looks at the painting on the wall, is like, oh, are those your horses? Just that little throw-in line that Larry probably added himself.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So Maria puts John Ross to bed, and Sue Ellen said she's going to go up and tuck him in, but I don't think she ever makes it up there.
She isn't. Sue Ellen's talking to Clayton, and she's telling him like how she's just so grateful, and she's really never been so happy. And she's like, wait, where's Dusty? And he's like, oh, he's in the projection room. He goes in the projection room every night after you take John Ross up to bed.
And this is all feels like a parallel thing. Sue Ellen is happy, and Pam is in the crapper.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's switch your roles.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. And I don't think they're ever happy at the same time now that you said that, honestly.
Yeah. Then we go to the projection room, and this is a very Sunset Boulevard moment.
They have a projection room. Oh.
I said, speaking of triggers.
Dusty just watching himself as a younger lad on at the rodeo, as it were.
The rodeo.
At the rodeo.
And we're not,
rodeo. I said that today,
and we're
actually.
not talking about Roy Rogers' horse Trigger either. We're talking about Dusty up on a horse.
So it's basically like, let's just go for a walk outside. And then he agrees.
Yeah, he wants to take her outside to look at the stars.
A walk.
Yeah.
The stars and stripes are big and bright.
Sorry.
Deep in the heart.
Deep in the heart of Texas. Pee-wee's Big Adventure, guys. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Excuse me, when are we going to see the basement?
Yeah.
There's no basement.
The basement? Tell him Marge sent you.
Rest in peace, Jan Hooks.
Oh.
So, yeah, Sue Ellen and Dusty are happy, and Bobby is basically, I looked at this last scene as kind of a mirror image to when JR committed Sue Ellen, except Pam
nicer.
We think she voluntarily, but she gave Bobby some look as she was going in.
Right, because it's a lot. She's doing it voluntarily, but he's basically very strongly encouraging her to do it. And I'm sure she's like, I'm fine. I don't need to go, whatever. But
and Bobby was asking about medications to speed up the process, but Dr. Conrad says that only masks the symptoms. And what they need to do is get to the root of her problem and work to find happy Pam behind angry cray Pam.
Yeah, she needs talk therapy. She needs EDMR, which is probably not a thing then. She needs all the therapies.
Yeah. Hey, if this were the Kennedys, they would have given her a frontal lobotomy or something.
Oh God.
Poor Rosemary.
Oh, Rosemary.
Rosemary's baby.
So anyway, the Pam seems pretty vacant. I would say her look seems pretty vacant, and she's not there. She's not happy. She's again in the bell jar.
So,
and Bobby looks worried.
So in about 3.5 years, we've gone from Pam solves the world's crises to Pam driving the crazy train.
Yep.
See what the Ewings do to people? No.
I mean,
She comes full
she does.
circle.
And freeze frame on Bobby's worried face.
Freeze frame.
Freeze frame.
Okay, so I give this actually 4.75 bourbons because I kind of like the fact that they're tackling such a touchy subject, and I liked the pace of this episode, even though we really only talked about a couple different storylines, really, but I liked it. And so I give it 4.75 bourbons and some really heavy nighttime purple eyeshadow.
Oh yes. I actually did give it a 4.75, even though I didn't like it a lot, but I liked the scene, like the storylines. I liked the whole Pam thing. You know, I'm obsessed with the Pam craziness. So I gave it this 4.75 and the blood curdling scream, crazy scream. Josh?
I gave it a 0. No, I gave it a 4.6 because I found it. I like the whole Pam storyline thing, and the way we delved into such an important issue, and we also. It just seemed though that everybody was running in their own direction, and like I said, JR never interacted with any other main cast member in this episode. He was a side piece. We very briefly got a little advancement in Mitch's storyline. We got a flick forward in Ray and storyline just with one scene, reminding us, oh yeah, he's there. Sue Ellen wasn't there as prominent in this episode, so she kind of held back a little, and I will give it a phone call to Jock Ewing.
I gave it a 4.75 as well, and sleeping with my makeup on because fuck it. That's what I put.
Sometimes I'm pretty good about taking off, but sometimes it's fuck it.
Usually it depends on what's been going on.
It depends.
You know, if it's worn off anyway, if I'm just too fucking drunk, like
that's a thing.
Oh, it depends on how many growlers you've had.
Growlers. Holy shit! You said growlers plural? Fuck.
She's definitely not taking off her makeup. Done. Jesus.
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't fall over on the floor, and she actually made it to the bed with the growlers.
Yeah, at that point,
passed the fuck out.
I'm gonna pass the fuck out.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us on the Ewing Barbecue Podcast. Hey, if you have an extra $5 a month, did you know that you can get access to our Dallas Book Club, where we read chapters from the book Dallas by Lee Raintree, which is super problematic and doesn't match the show at all. But you know what? It talks about Ellie's boobies a lot. So, you know, it's a thing.
Oh, God.
Yep.
It is our equivalent of when Betty White read erotica on Family Guy. It is dirty.
Yeah. So dirty.
If you don't want to spend $5 on that, like go get yourself a really nice, like, an iced coffee at Starbucks with some coconut milk or some shit. I don't care. Whatever.
Oh,
you know, you spend your money how you want. We're not your mom.
But we do have wonderful merchandise that you might want to purchase.
We do have some sweet merchandise, which I'm still in the process. I need to get back on that and design more merchandise. And you can check that out on it's bit.ly/Ewing BBQ merch, and that's in your show notes. And actually all of our links for our Patreon and our merch and our Instagram and Twitter, and even the link to donate to the Jim Davis Memorial is there. So go check it out, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Y'all come back now here, and we'll be discussing the big shutdown.
You always check the roof.
Always. Seriously. Check the goddamn roof.
The roof is on fire. The roof is on fire.
Next on Dallas.
On Leland.
We all want to get Vaughn's opinion of the loan, J.R.
Well, that pretty well puts you in the catbird seat, doesn't it?
Just what am I supposed to be buying? Information about Kristen's son. What does that mean? His father is here in Dallas. And you know him.
Maybe if I had a child of my own,
And if that's not possible?
what's the use of living?
A man we're sitting on, say, about 5 million barrels of oil.
He may just find himself on the way to the poorhouse.